So I guess there's nothing to hide. Like, it becomes a very sad uh, place, or it becomes a very serious place once you get to the actual grave markers. And like I say, God bless them. You know, they inspired rock and roll, and the later on the American Pie song from Don McLean, you know, which is considered to be one of the most well-written songs of all time. I think it's to other people, you know, it might be a masked communist message, because Don McLean was also a student of Pete Seeger's. And Pete Seeger's was an avowed communist, you know, folk singer who, you know, strangely enough, he'd sing gospel songs every now and then, but he was actually a communist. And I'm sorry to bring politics into this scenario, but like I said, sometimes I feel like Big Bopper and Buddy Holly and Ritchie Valens are kind of used by the culture. You know, who knows what they would have been like if they had actually gotten to live and interact with the Beatles. I think they would have gotten along great. I think, you know, they would have enjoyed playing with each other and jamming out. I don't know if Buddy Holly would have taken the same path that a lot of them took in the 60s. I think he was leaning a little more country, and might have been, you know, if he's touring with Waylon Jennings, he might have developed his own style of outlaw country maybe by the time of the 1970s. And then, you know, Ritchie Valens obviously would, the Crickets would have obviously remained strong because they wrote their own songs and performed their own music. You know, they weren't lounge acts, which is more or less what Elvis Presley was. And I love Elvis Presley, but to my knowledge, I don't know if he's ever written a song. I'm sure he's written one somewhere, but most of Elvis's hits were written by others for him, you know, and he was the voice, you know, he was the big voice he'd put on there. Buddy Holly and his band actually produced their material and their own material, and that's some of what inspired the Beatles to become, you know, great songwriters, and of course named themselves the Beatles after Buddy Holly's band, which was called the Crickets. So I don't know, I'm starting to lose momentum, perhaps maybe not. I hope, you know, whether or not I showed proper respects, you know, I'm here with all of you now, videotaping this for prosperity. I'm not having the best finances at the moment, but sometimes it's worth it to get out, you know, and just kind of do something like this, because it's a once-in-a-lifetime thing. You gotta spend big to win big sometimes, and this isn't really the problem I had, but sometimes, you know, when you're not always doing the best things in life, you end up at just the right spot at the right moment to do something happy and or something more productive. And this is a pretty productive journey. This is actually a lot more worth it than I hate to say more worth it than the Spirit Lake tour, because there wasn't much to see there except a log cabin. But right here you get a long walk to sort of contemplate and, you know, think about things and go over the history of you know, Buddy Holly, Ritchie Valens, and everything. I talk too much, so I'm still talking. Let's experience the cornfields. So as I say, Big Bopper was found somewhere along this, actually probably somewhere along the fence, and maybe closer to the street, which would have been weird, because, you know, how was he thrown that far? You know, he was thrown so far away. I'll make another video.